another thing, stop saying all men are dogs. That's not true. Just because you had one bad experience doesn't mean they all come like that. Oh, did you ever think that maybe the reason why you attracting those so-called dogs is because you dishing out kibbles and bits? Wagging your tail to see who you can catch next. The devil is a liar. And don't be wagging your tail in front of my husband either.
Somebody told me you was looking for me. Here I go. I'm drummer, 1980, hailing from Columbia, South Carolina. I hope you're having a good day today. And if that's not the case, ask yourself why. Because remember, happiness is an inside job. And it will always be an internal affair. Guys, I'm back today again with another reaction from my man TBA, the Black Authority. This is a good showing, guys. Now, this here is something different, but it's going to take some twists and turns. So just stay tuned to the end, guys, because trust me, it's worth it. Let's go.
Hi, my name's Cammie, and I'm calling from Roseville, California.
Okay, Cammie, have I talked to you before?
No, I've only recently found your channel, and I love tonight. I came on not right when it started, so I'm going to go back and watch it. But I love what you did tonight.
Okay,
and
I'm glad to hear that. Now, did you say that you're in Roosevelt, California?
Roseville, yes.
Roseville, California. Where is that at?
It's about 20 miles outside of Sacramento, California.
Okay, north or south of Sacramento?
Yeah. Well, no, north of Sacramento.
Okay. All right. What's on your mind, Cammie?
Well, I just, I'm a 54-year-old white woman. And about 11 years ago, I had to start researching kind of who I come from and what I come from, because while I escaped the grooming mentally and spiritually, I didn't really know what I had not become, because I was so normalized in my childhood. You know, I knew 3 racial slurs before I outgrew teddy bears.
Where were your parents from originally? Not California, so where were they from originally?
No, Kansas.
There you go.
Patriarchal side is Kansas. And yeah, it's a horrible environment for a daughter to be raised in. You know, in coming to understand like who I come from and not include like all white people, I understand it as colonial, pedophile, master race, hate keepers. In a daughter's childhood in that environment, first of all, I was given the name by my father at the age of 5, N-butt, and that area of my body was tortured. And the more I protested, the more he loved it. And so what you're taught from these kind of white men is that, first of all, you are a possession really at the end of their genitals. And you have no boundaries to your own body. And, you know, the things that went on between these men and children in my neighborhood were so normalized that it wasn't until I was older and I moved to a big city as soon as I could. I sat down and had the very clear thought of, you know, the man next door was having sex with his daughter. I don't know if I could say that. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, was that back in Kansas?
No, this is in Roseville.
Okay, so this was in California. How old were you when you okay, did you live in Kansas or were you born and raised in California?
No, just my father. His parents are from Kansas, but he was born also in Roseville, California.
Okay. But what about you, though?
I was born in Roseville, California.
Okay. You're born and raised in Roseville. And the reason why I bring this up is because, like I said, now, I forgot your age. You said you're 50-something years old?
I'm sorry?
You're 50-something years old now, you said?
54.
Okay, 54 years old. Okay, so in other words, you were in California when Reagan was governor.
Yes.
Okay. Right before he decided to go run for president. And that's significant because people who are not from California or...
Let me chime in for a second, guys. Where earlier she said that she was 52, but now she says that she's 54. I don't know if there's some type of drug use going on here or whether she's nervous or what have you. But let me just speak to what she said. Now, what she said, that's not far-fetched. Because if you know anything about the culture, that's rampant all throughout the culture of that demographic. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. That's common. And the women don't generally say anything because that is the cost of doing business, if you understand. If you want to indulge in white supremacy, this is the cost of doing business. And guys, whenever that you check out the statistics, it's spot on. Most of your pedos and all those are white males. And that's just the truth. That's not bashing anybody. That's just the God-given truth. And most people don't want to come to terms with that. If you notice now, they are just getting slapped on the wrist, get 3 months in jail. 3 months for molesting a child? Oh, but let me tell you something. And God forbid this ever happen. But if somebody, I don't care what color, what ethnicity, who it is, it could be my brother. If they call themselves violating my daughter, there will be no more Drummer 1980 on YouTube because I'm going to be in jail. Okay? I'm going to be in prison. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't play them games. I don't care who it is. Listen at what I'm telling you. I don't care who. It could be a woman. I don't care who it is. That would be something that I would willingly lay down for. Yes, I would lay down for it. And that's just the truth of the matter. So guys, tell me what y'all think so far because the story is about to get more interesting. All right, let's go.
Don't know anything about California. You know, they don't realize exactly what that's like. So she came from Reagan's California. And everybody thinks of California really being like Los Angeles and whatnot. No, Los Angeles and San Francisco are major urban centers. But when you get outside of those areas, and I've been, coming all the way down from Oregon, I've driven Interstate 5 all the way down, and it looks like rural Louisiana. I got off at one place there. There was a little dive restaurant off the freeway. And I mean, it had like 30, 40 cars around there. It wasn't a big place, but it was like rural Louisiana. And it doesn't look like what you associate with California until you get at least to Sacramento. And then it goes away again when you get outside Sacramento. And then until you get down to, if you're going, out west, then you're going to go to San Francisco and Oakland. Other than that, if you're going down Interstate 5, you don't see anything until you get to Los Angeles. And that's what it is. So just to give you all some idea right there, if she's out in those areas and whatnot like that, it's like, yeah, it's not like being in a suburb. It's not what it's like. It's like what a lot of you are associated with being with the rural South. That's what California really is when you get outside those areas. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. That is something to keep in mind. So I find it all to be very easy to believe. Where was your mom while all this damn debauchery was going on?
Well, that's what is so very bizarre about this is that, like what was going on next door was very commonly known, such that we were so young that we didn't understand what sex actually was, but we knew that it was, an adult thing, and we knew there was something talk about it because it was gossiped about so openly. But I had to get older before I looked at it, and I said, this was common knowledge, and nobody saved her. And the words in all the adult talk, and everybody talked about it, and I never heard the words, when I look back at it, I never heard the words police or crime, and the, there's more stories about that. I don't want to just focus on that, but it's just, as a daughter, nobody's really allowed, according to the master white man, nobody's really allowed to be alive and creative in their presence. Like you aren't allowed to have boundaries and creativity and stuff. You're sexually objectified, and you don't really have any value. And any brain you try to have, or like, the stuff I love to do, like reading and writing, it was,
Well, I mean, the thing is, let me find out something here. Have you traced your family's lineage to see where it goes back to before America?
I've kind of tried to look at it a little bit. That's a little hard to explain right now. Well, I haven't been able to, but I'm. Gosh, how do I say this? It's such an organized. What I know today is that it's such an organized body that you don't ever actually leave them. Like, I might not mentally or, turned out to be one of them, or spiritually, I have, a spiritual life, but I'm back.
Well, the reason why I asked,
I think what she's saying is true, but she's doing a lot of rambling and a lot of bumbling and fumbling around. So the average person probably would think that she was telling lies. I really feel like she's telling the truth. That's common. You can even look at the stars like Elvis. What did Elvis do? Look at all the famous people that have been caught with minors. They have something now called minor attraction or something. These people have been doing this a long time ago, but what happened is everything went underground because it wasn't accepted amongst the people. Okay, so it went up underground, but now you see everything has reemerged. I told y'all Rome fell, but Rome was not destroyed. I told y'all that. And now Rome is at the forefront. The Edomites. See, but I don't want to go too far. But guys, what do y'all think? She said that her mother knew about it, but she turned a blind eye. And it was happening to the girl next door. Everybody knew about it. I remember this distinctive case whenever I was in school. We was probably around 15, 16 years old. And the girls in our class, many of them was talking to grown adult men. They was coming to school picking them up. And everybody knew it was their boyfriends. In this one particular case, the guy was driving a brand new Ford F-150. And he was probably around 30. And she was like 15, 16 years old. Didn't nobody say anything. Didn't nobody reprimand anybody, or nobody didn't go to jail, nothing. I said, Greg, God, ooh, I mean, and that's common. I know a police officer, and everybody that's from the hometown know exactly who I'm talking about. He was like cool and all that, but he married a girl that he groomed because she was young whenever they first got together, but didn't nobody say anything. Nobody didn't say a word. Everybody looked the other way. This was the same officer that was going into the evidence room and putting the drugs back out in the community, in the streets. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yes. And he's back on the police force. He got caught doing that, and they let him back on the police force. Well, actually, they transferred him for a little while, but then he came right back. That's crazy. Yep, came right back. Be careful with your kids. Don't leave your kids to certain people's house. Do not let them spend the night because it's not good. I don't care who don't like it. You ain't spending the night. No way. I don't care how much Becky and Lil Tom. No, you ain't going over there spending no night. You ain't going no way without me until that you get grown. No, absolutely. Talking about that you want to go swimming. We all see them cases that these kids end up drowning and don't nobody know nothing. Did y'all see the case with the 8-year-old black boy and he went to little Tommy and Jerry house and somehow he drowned and the mother lied and everybody lied? Didn't nobody know anything. And it was ruled as a homicide. It's out there, guys. So yeah, just be careful, guys.
The reason why I asked you about that is because that's interesting dynamic there. And that speaks to the greater society in that regard because of something that you said there before. First of all, this is a very, 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 very tragic thing to have in that regard. That's a very tragic thing. But as you know, it's far more common than people give it any sort of credit for being. Because what you're describing is being a possession, which of course goes back to the roots of this is Old English and European law to begin with. And that's the price you pay for your female privilege as a white woman. You can have your privileges so long as you accept this side of the coin.
Yep.
So you can have it. You'll have all this stuff here. You can point your finger and get folks in trouble and unearned benefits and the whole 9 yards. As long as you're willing to accept this other half. So if you accept the part where you agree to sign the Faustian bargain and you will be a possession and you roll with it, and the rest of this stuff you just do the good job and sweep it under the rug and let bygones be bygones. Well, now you can have all the privileges of female whiteness. Now you can have it. Of course, if you attempt to go the other way, probably going to find yourself out there by yourself. And that's a hell of a spot to be in.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Yeah, well, it's very much, it's in the Mein Kampf that, even in terms of your own family, that you can't, maintain for the survival of one's own race. One must, however, hate with a pure and perfect hatred those of one's own race, meaning white to white, who cannot... who commit treason against one's own kind and against the nations of one's own kind. Hate people and practices which destroy white people culture, racial exclusiveness, and territorial imperative. So I came to understand that I am, like, according to who I come from, I am not the right kind of white.
Okay. Well, certainly if you're not on board with it directly or you have questions about it, yeah, you're a troublesome white person. You certainly could be. And of course, that makes you eligible for all kinds of punishment and mistreatment at that point. They're like, okay, we're going to treat you a little bit more like we do them Negroes because you're not on code enough. So that's where the next thing comes there for you. Let me find out here. How do you feel about reparations?
Family. Now you see what happened thus far. You've been following the storyline, okay? Now, this next segment, pay attention to every single syllable, every word that she said, all right? Pay close attention. Be attentive, all right?
I don't know that I have enough information to qualify an opinion on that.
How about an unqualified opinion?
Well, I just think that it's almost like like the Indians were given casinos, like they're given something that has to do with vices and sickness, and you know what I mean. They were here with. Even the
we're not expecting. Fortunately, we're not expecting that. We're only expecting that. We're only expecting what was taken from us. Well, slow down. We're only expecting what was taken from us, which is cash payments. Money was what was taken from us. We've had money was taken from us, and that's what needs to be restored to us. So, what do you think of that?
Yes. See, I don't have enough understanding.
Okay. Well, that's okay. You came to the right place. We'll make sure you have a full understanding before you get off this phone. So what exactly is it you think you don't have an understanding of? And give me the short version of it.
Well, like I said, I started researching this. I come from a background of also struggling with addiction, and
right. But what I want to find out though, I don't want to wander too much though. What I'm saying though is that you said that you didn't know enough about it. So let me try again. I'm trying to find out what exactly is it that you think you don't know enough about, and we'll see if we can help fill you in.
Oh, okay. I think I understand. I think that I have spent more time, since this has had to come to something that I live in, I have spent more time trying to figure out who these people are I come from than I have on the history of what you have been through. So I have more research about, because I'm threatened all the time by living in the middle of them, and I'm back in the town I grew up in, and I get threatened by the
certainly understand that, but
around here all the time.
Certainly understand that, but back over here we are. Basically, you're well aware of American slavery and the legacy of that, and that we were never compensated or given restitution. So when America ended slavery, it didn't do for us what it did for literally everybody else. It made them whole. It gave them compensation. We were just turned loose in a society that was making laws against us the entire time and still continues to do so. So what I'm saying is that was never rectified, and that is the root cause of our current condition today is this ongoing practice of perpetuating what occurred rather than remedying it. So they remedied it for everybody else. Now, whether or not how they used it is a different matter. When you talk about the Indian casinos and whatnot, well, they gave them their reparations. Now, if they can use it however they want to. You can have your opinions about that, but nobody took care of ours. And we're talking about from chattel slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, prison industrial complex. We keep going after period of time of targeting us and taking our wealth from us and giving it to the white society, and at no point restoring that. So I think you're aware of all those periods of history there. Don't you think it's about time, now that you've been filled in on that, you agree with us that it's time that should be addressed?
Yes, well, I do agree with that.
I'm glad to hear that.
I agree with that very much.
Well, that is what we're looking for to hear.
I also think the neighborhoods need to be addressed. I'm still in a very white, saturated.
Well, it can stay that way. It can stay that way. And it can stay that way. Here's the thing: we're not pushing for integration. That's old. That's done. That's 1940s to 1960s. Our goal is not integration. We are not bothered by an all-white neighborhood. We're not bothered by an all-white company. We're not bothered by an all-white school district, because at the end of the day, our goal isn't to try to integrate those. Our goal is simply to improve ourselves so that even if those places are bastions and enclaves of white supremacy and racism, they can hate us because we're black, but they can only victimize us because we're poor. So as long as we're not impoverished, they can be as separate and racist as they want to be, just so long as they no longer have the ability to harm us. At that point, we're not really concerned about their neighborhoods in that regard. Now, I can understand why you would be a little unsettled by that, because white supremacists left off by themselves start practicing every type of demonic degeneracy and debauchery you can imagine when they're off by themselves. Yeah, and of course, you become target number one. Yeah, I mean, so certainly you're as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. So I can definitely understand where that would be going from. You sitting up there on the couch and, watching TV, and every time your dad go by in the hallway, it's like, oh boy. So I understand that. By the way, you never did explain what your mom was doing through all this time. What was she doing? Was she there?
Yes. Really gaslighting everything.
Oh, she was telling you it wasn't that bad or it wasn't happening.
And absolutely, I'm a liar. I mean, even the things that she It was a childhood of like being constantly psychically sexually assaulted. That's that they're, tit fanatics, sports extremists,
Well, I'm glad that you have an opportunity to have some reflection on that, because that's important to have as well. Now, here's what I want you to do. If you really support everything we're doing here and stuff, and you really want to see a change in that, there's a link in the description of the video for my crowdfunding for my newest film, 8 a.m. It really goes into this kind of thing here. We've been doing this kind of work for over a decade now. I want you to be a part of that. So if you really want to make a change and go beyond just talking about it, that's going to be a great first start for you, okay?
Okay.
So can we count on your support?
Can I just say, I would love to support you. Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight.
There you have it, guys. I just let that play all the way through because I wanted you to get the gist of the matter. When the topic of reparations came up, I don't know enough about that. Because whenever the Indians got there, it was like some type of vice and casinos. I don't want no casino. I want my money that my people is owed, the blood debt. That's all. And people can do whatever they see fit to do with their money. But don't try to group us all in. Well, y'all just go spend it on rims. If the people want to go spend it on chicken and rims or whatever they want to do with it, that's their business. But don't pocket watch me. Don't worry about what I'm going to do with it. Because I'm going to put mine to good use. Trust and believe that. So then whenever Jason broke it down to her, she went, yes, land. Well, yes, land is good for the secondary. But the first thing need to be cash. Need to be monetary gain. First thing. And then we could talk about the land being allocated or what have you. You see how they work? Then we can talk about education and all of that, okay? But don't put the cart before the horse, all right? And she said that her mother was gaslighting her and telling her that she was lying. That's pretty typical, guys. Whenever it comes to reparations, guys, people act funny. People get dumb all of a sudden. Do anybody remember one by the name of Jane Elliott? Now she talk, the black people being treated bad and they is put upon and they downtrodden. The minute you ask her about reparations, you see a change in her. Well, I don't necessarily know whether that would be a good idea. I think that the Indians the Indians already got their just due. And there were some black ones as well that didn't get their just due. Whenever you think people are on your side, ask them about reparations and see how far that goes. Whenever you think that you have an ally, just ask them, should black Americans, freemen, receive reparations from the U.S. government? And just sit back and don't fumble, don't bumble, don't try to help them. Just sit back and let them answer. And that alone will tell you where y'all stand. You understand that? Tim Wise was another one. He talked all good, and then he started talking greasy about our elder, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. You can't be no ally of us. If you sit back long enough and listen at him, he'll start sounding like Richard Spencer. Don't be so quickly to run. They just love us. If you're not like John Brown, I'm good. If you don't know who John Brown is, look him up. If you're not like John Brown, do anybody hear me? If you're not like John Brown, I'm good. Because we don't need no Jane Elliott's. We don't need no Tim Wise. We don't need none of them. Because they are wolf in sheep clothing. Nah, because their intent is tainted, in my humble opinion. Simply because if you for the community, like you say you are, reparations wouldn't even be a problem. You'd be like, yes, they deserve cash payments. The U.S. government, simple as that. But no, it comes to a darn screeching halt. Reparations, no, that's a hand-me-out. I thought you was for us. Yeah, Don't be so easily tricked and bamboozled, guys. But tell me what you think in the comment section. Hit the subscribe button. Come on back to see me, guys. Hit the like button and donate to my channel, guys, because I'm doing this. I'm doing it. All right. And until next time, peace. And remember, there is more.